So this next through the summer, we're going to be taking step by step the 12 steps for everyone. And as many of you know, I am a person in recovery. However, to be transparent, I did not use the 12-step program as my path to my recovery. I actually found this philosophy and dove in head first and used this philosophy as a way to stay clean and sober. And for me, everybody's path to recovery is different. And for me, it was an epiphany. And it happened, I went out on a Friday night. I'd been coming to a church like this for about 6 weeks. I went out on a Friday night and did what I normally do on a Friday night, and woke up the next morning and was really clear that I was done. That I was done with cigarettes, I was done with alcohol, and I was done with drugs. And that was October 19th, 2002. And that commitment to myself has not changed. And I feel very blessed that happened for me. And I think that makes me believe. I get goosebumps when I share that because I forget. It makes me understand even more how God works in our life. How God knew someday I was going to be a minister. And so for me to be washed away of that addiction where I could be around people, because there are some people in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, they cannot be around alcohol. And I'm fortunate that I can, and I don't feel tempted. And so I just give thanks for that every day, how that happened in my life. And so you're probably thinking, well, then why are we doing the 12 steps? Well, it started out in 1935, and the first step was we admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. And then from that sprang every other kind of 12-step program you can think of. So why do we want to talk about 12 steps here? Because it's brilliant. It is another path for you to use, more tools in your toolbox to use to get a sense of that you're good enough, that your life is complete, that the universe is for you. And so we're going to go step by step, and I will tell you right now, these steps aren't easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing them all the time. There is a commitment involved to these steps, and so I'm actually using 3 books. I started out with this one because the title caught my eye, The 12 Steps for Everyone. I thought, great, that's great. I can use this book. And the way they describe the first step is we admitted and accepted that we had a problem that we could not resolve by ourselves, and repeated attempts to resolve it only made it worse. I thought, great, that is a great book. And there's a lot of reference to programs in here. And I thought, so I don't know if I necessarily want to use this as the book of the month and have everybody think that I want them to go to some program, because that's not why we're doing this. So I thought, maybe use a different book. So then, how many of you know Russell Brand? This man is a genius, truly a genius. And some of you may think a little wackadoodle. His book is called Recovery. His first step, I can't say out loud on Sunday. I will just tell you his first step because he took it and made it work for him. And it is, ask yourself, are you just a little bit? Thank you. That's not exactly what he said, but that's really what he meant. Do you have something in your life that is messing you up, that you are attached to? That you have tried everything in your life? Bad relationship, bad job. You eat when you don't want to. You want to lose weight and you can't. You spend thousands of dollars on this or that or the other. Do you just have a monkey mind that will not leave you alone? That constantly tells you why people don't like you. And I can tell you why people don't like you, because you keep telling yourself people don't like you. We're all lovable. We're all God-informed. We need to stop this chatter. So I recommend this book unless you don't like the F word, because he uses it a lot. So I love this book. Please don't buy it and then come and tell me you're truly offended. I am forewarning you. If you get offended by language, this is not your book. I personally, my book. And then I found an in-between book. And this is actually written by a member of Science of Mind community down in California. Her name is Karen Lindsay. And her first step is, we admitted we were ready for a change in our lives. Is there anybody here that is not ready for some sort of change in their life? Anybody? Because if you don't have something you want to change in your life, you can be excused and, you know, I don't know, go out for coffee. Please don't do that. Yep. But, you know, just an offer. So what does that mean? We admitted to ourselves that we had something we wanted to change in our life. Remember, I said these steps aren't necessarily easy. This is actually probably the easiest step that we're going to do over the next 12 weeks. This is about intention. What is it in your life that you would like to change? That you have told yourself over and over and over again, I really want to change this behavior. I really want to change the way I think about myself about this. I really want to use that 10, 20, 15, 50, whatever poundage it is. I really want to get out of this relationship. It doesn't work for me. I really want a relationship in my life. What is it you want to change? That first step is golden. You have to have the intention to say, I am ready to change this in my life. Because remember the definition of insanity? You keep doing the same thing over and over again and you think your life's going to change. It won't. So the first step is realizing I'm going to set this intention and then I'm going to have to do the work. So the first thing I would ask you, I know that every member of the board and every practitioner here has a prayer partner. If you don't have a prayer partner over the next 12 weeks, I suggest you tap somebody and say, would you be my prayer partner? And if you don't know what that looks like or what that means, would all the practitioners here today please stand up? And vigil people, stand up just so they know you're part of this group. Sorry to call you out of vigil. Okay, what I would ask you, if you don't know what being a prayer partner means, ask one of us. I'm not saying we have to be your prayer partner. However, we can sit with two people and say, this is how this is going to work. Thank you. Right? Get a prayer partner. Why? Not an accountability coach. I love what Karen says. Accountability is your responsibility. You're accountable. You don't need somebody to report into. A prayer partner is somebody that you can go to and say, today I am struggling with this intention. What I want to do is go eat pie. And not a piece. I want to eat the whole pie. Right? For me, I've used pie, but for me it's ice cream. And for me, I am not a polite ice cream eater. I am not, do not give me a little dish of ice cream. I look at it like, what? My husband and I eat a pint of ice cream apiece for dinner sometimes. We call it our celebration. Now, you may all think, that's just fine, Gayle. What is wrong with that? Well, I will tell you 30 pounds later what is wrong with that. Obviously, there's too many nights of ice cream for dinner. So for me, my surrender is the monkey mind that tells me there is something out there that is going to fix this for me. The next great diet, the next great pill, the next great food program. This is only going to get fixed when I own the fact that I want to fix it. Because here's the deal. If I want to fix it, I will lose the 30 pounds. Now, what I will tell you is the truth of the matter is there is something in me that I need to find out that this 12 weeks is going to help me discover. There is something in me that absolutely does not want to fix that. Because I know I've been clean and sober for 16 years. I know it works. I know how to do it. I just don't. And I continually look outside myself for something that is going to fix it for me. So there's being honest with you. Now, am I the only person in this room that has something that they want to change, and they're constantly looking at, and whether they're a practitioner or a minister or you're just your first time here, you have something in your life you want to change, and you continue to do the same habit over and over and over again? I might be alone. I don't think so. Thank you, Jim. So there's at least two of us. So what I encourage you to do is the first step is to understand, what is it you aren't willing to give up? Is it the ice cream? I mean, really, am I not willing to give up ice cream? What is it that keeps me where I am? Maybe it's happiness. You know, maybe I've got it stuck in my head and I'm fine. I've had that discussion with me, you know, who pops up on my shoulder and says, "Nah, is my mother." Aha. See, now we're going to start to unravel this, right? How many of you have somebody that you may think, okay, I'm good. You know, I look good. My husband loves me. I feel good. I can walk 20 miles, you know, life is good. And then you've got somebody on your shoulder going, so let's, over the next 12 weeks, unravel that. See, that's why this is so powerful. That's why I highly recommend you have a prayer partner, somebody you can sit down with and say, you know who showed up this morning in the middle of my meditation? I was so happy. I was ready to surrender and say, I am good with who I am. I love my body. And there was my mom. Now, I love my mother. She is not with us anymore. However, I will tell you from the time I can remember as a young child, 12, probably 12. You don't want to eat those grapes. There's 1 calorie in every grape. You don't want to eat that banana there, you know. And, you know, say, oh, but my heart goes out to her because obviously this was how she was raised, right? I didn't get it at the time. I really didn't. And I held her responsible for a long, long time of why she would do this to me. Or why when my sister and I would hug and my sister would whisper in my ear, you're about 10 pounds heavier than the last time I saw you. This was a family thing, right? There's healing to be done there. And that's the healing that I'm looking for. And it may look like I lose weight, and it may look like I just get really comfortable with who I am. And that to me would be a victory right there. To really own who I am, that would be a victory. And so I hope that every single one of you has something that you want to look at and say, I want to shift this. And then find a prayer partner. And if you need a prayer partner and you're afraid to ask somebody in the room, ask me. I love to pray with people, and my days aren't full of prayer yet. I pray on Mondays. I pray on Tuesdays with people. I pray on Fridays with people. I pray Saturday morning. I have lots of space on that calendar for other people. So if you're looking for a prayer partner, you don't know anybody else in the room, let me know. I would love, you know, if I could pray all day long every day, because there's power in prayer. There is power in prayer because when you are praying with someone or for someone, it shifts your consciousness. I feel better after I pray. So find a prayer partner and use that prayer partner. And then contemplate the word admitted. Because some of us have problems. I have to admit something. I have to admit that I'm not perfect. I have to admit that, yes, I have studied this philosophy since 2002. Yes, I took all the practitioner studies. Yes, I went to ministerial school. I should have this. Yes, I'm human, and I don't. And I am the first one to admit that. Why? Because I think that it's important that you know none of us in this room is perfect. I don't care who it is. Nobody in this room gets to stand up and say, I am perfect, unless you're talking about your soul, which absolutely is whole, complete, and perfect. But on a human level, there's not a person in here that is perfect. And if you hold yourself to perfection, you got 12 weeks. Admit that you're not perfect. Because living under an umbrella that you have to be perfect, that causes so much pain in people's lives. The person who thinks that they have to be perfect, my heart breaks for people who think that. Fortunately, I did not get that malady. I got enough of my own, thank you God. But I'm just saying, that's a tough one to let go of. And so just really sit with the word admitted and realize that you're admitting that to yourself and to that which knows who you are already anyway. And that's the God within you and the God that's all around you. No surprises there. You know, I say to people all the time when they talk about, well, Gayle, you know, I can't do this. And I'm like, that's okay. You know, if you said you're going to do something, your contract is not with me. Your contract is with that thing that is higher and bigger than all of us. That is that thing itself that is over us, around us, through us, and as us. I choose to call it God. I got told yesterday at the Burien Pride, God is a noun. I shouldn't call it God. I'm like, it's okay. It was a long conversation. It was actually enriching. And then I kind of got to the point I realized he was really just trying to let me know how much he knew about Christianity, because he assumed, because I was a woman and I was white and I was American, that I was Christian. And I said, oh, that's interesting. How often do I do that to people? Look at them and just make an assumption. So when I said to him, yeah, no, I'm not Christian. And he was like, what? So, you know, my dad golfed on Sundays. My mom didn't drive. I went to Sunday school with the neighbors, and then I got old enough to realize I didn't want to do that anymore. I love all religions because all paths lead to the divine. Did you know that's the book that hooked me to this philosophy is Can We Talk to God by Ernest Holmes. And I am not going to quote this correctly, but in it somewhere, somebody says to Ernest Holmes, oh, so you think you've created the next great religion? And his response was, no. I've created something that works for me. What I suggest for everybody else, if they're interested, they read what I have read and then come up with their own truth. That's why I love Science of Mind. Because everybody is welcome here. Everybody gets to play here. You can come here, and that's what I told him. I said, you know, when this first started, Ernest Holmes met with people on Wednesdays, so on Sundays, they could do whatever they normally did on Sundays or Saturdays. And then come together. It's why it's called a New Thought religion. Come together and discuss, what does that mean today? And so that's one of the reasons I chose the 12 steps, is because they're still viable. They were written in 1935. They still work. What are you willing to admit that has made you crazy? Or that you say to your friends over and over and over again, this doesn't work. I'm not happy. Are you willing to do what we teach here and take responsibility for what's not working in your life? And then we're going to do 12, I almost said easy. We're going to do 12 steps that are going to allow us the opportunity to shift our consciousness. And I will tell you, they are not easy. I don't think this philosophy is easy. When it's easy is when you work it and you see it You see tents going up over your head just because you said, wow, I wonder how much a tent would cost today. It looks like it might be a little wet and then it's going to be really hot. And it manifested like that. That's how it works when you're that connected. And there are stories in this room of people doing that all the time. Manifesting all the time. You just have to slow down and look. And so this is 12 steps to help us watch as we move along. And don't pick something easy. I mean, you can. I could have picked something easier. But it's something that has ridden with me since I was a little girl, and I'm just so tired of it. And so it's an opportunity for me to go, okay, let's work these steps in community. So anybody got any questions? Anybody need a prayer partner? Oh, come on. All right. All right. Okay. So see me after service? All right. Yay. Filling up my calendar. I don't know about the rest of you. All right. So the first step. We could use Russell Brand's. Ask yourself, are you just a little bit messed up? Or ask yourself, are you ready to admit we admitted we are ready for a change in our life? We admitted we are ready for a change in our life. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Let's pray. So standing here in the delight of the divine, right here, right now, knowing that it is over us, around us, through us, as us. It has no beginning. It has no end. It is infinite, and I am part of it. It is all of me, and I am a minuscule part of that, a living, breathing organism in that thing itself. And as this is true for me, it is true for all of you. Every single one of you is part of that magnificent whole. Every single one of you is part of that fabric of the divine. We are as important to its existence as it is to ours. And so today, in that glory, in that wonder, in that delight of just yes, I know for each one of us, we take this first step like stepping into Puget Sound. We put our toe in, it's cold, we pull our toe out. We're not quite sure. Some people are just going to dive in right off the dock. And they'll come up and they'll just be grinning ear to ear. Some people are going to turn and think, yeah, I'm just going to sit on the beach and watch these crazy people. And yet what I know is each one of us individually gets to take that commitment to the level and the extent that we choose. We get to admit to ourselves that there is something that we are powerless of, and we get to watch that shift. And so I just say thank you, Mother, Father, God, Spirit, for allowing us as a community to look at where we might be stuck, where we might be so over something in our life that we are ready to move forward by leaps and bounds. And so we walk this path together, each step, one step at a time, knowing that as we do this, we thank all of those people that have come before us and those people that will come behind us that have walked this path, that are here with us now, whether in physical form or not. Knowing that we stand on the shoulders of those that have come before us, I turn all of these words over into the law, knowing that as I do so, God answers back with a resounding yes. And there are guides and angels that are singing praises to all of us with that resounding yes. knowing that we are here, we are loved, and we are supported. So with that, I let go and let God, and together we say, and so it is. Amen.